Welcome back to another Conductor live stream. I am your host, Theme Park Conductor, and today we are going to be watching the full video of Ben Crump and his team that's working on the Epic Universe tragedy of Stardust Racers of Kevin, who sadly passed away about 2 weeks ago. And we're going to hear from Ben Crump. We're going to hear from I'm guessing family members of Kevin. So let's watch this. And just a reminder, if anyone has any comments in at any point, post them and I will answer them as we watch the press conference. It's going to be about 41 minutes. So as comments come in, I will answer them as we go. So let me share my screen here and let's watch what Ben Crump has to say. Let's do it. Let me see. Give me 1 sec. Just gotta wait and see if we can. Okay. All right. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it on here. Let me see if I can. Okay, there we go. All right, let's watch it.
Is everyone ready? Good morning. I'm Attorney Ben Crump, along with Attorney Natalie Jackson and Attorney Paul Greinke and Attorney Aaron Deacle. We have the honor and the privilege of representing the family of Kevin Rodriguez Chavala. We have with us this morning his mother and father, Ana and Carlos, who you will hear from today, as well as his brother and sister-in-law, Veronica and Michael. You will also, Attorney Greinke and Attorney Jackson may answer some questions with us. Also present with us is his girlfriend, Javalise, and her mother, Liz. Let me start this press conference off with reminding you all, after this tragedy, before we had our first press conference, the president of Universal Epic put out some statement to her team members after the tragedy. And in large part, she says safety is and always will be at the forefront of everything we do. Well, Universal, these words ring hollow in light of you reopening the Stardust coaster this weekend without giving Kevin's families any answers whatsoever to why he was killed on your roller coaster. Not having our experts be able to inspect the roller coaster that killed Kevin. Not having the investigations be completed as to what killed Kevin. But yet, you open up this ride.
So I just want to make a point before I continue. One of the things I can immediately disagree with Ben Crump is he said that him and the family haven't had time for the investigation to complete, that they haven't had their experts come in and look at the attraction. I want to clarify something real quick, just so everyone knows. There's been four different teams of inspectors looking at Stardust Racers. We got a team from Universal Orlando. We have a team from Mack Rides, who Mack Rides is the creator of Stardust Racers, who designed the attraction, who built the attraction. Then on top of that, we have a third party, so outsourced. And then we have the state of Florida had a team of investigators and inspectors look at Stardust Racers, and all four teams cleared Stardust Racers to be open. Why Ben Crump wants to delay it more and have another team go in there when the four other teams have already cleared the attraction to be reopened, I am not sure. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Open up this ride, and it has Kevin family asking the questions. Are they putting profit over people? Are they putting profits over my son's life? And I have to say to the family, it's a fair question. It is a fair question. Because when you put out very appropriate statements, like saying safety is and always will be at the forefront of everything we do, I am reminded of when I was a little boy. My grandmother taught me I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day of the week. That your words speak, your actions speak so loud that we need not hear University tell us how much they think safety is the utmost important, because their actions in reopening this ride does not suggest that safety is at the forefront of everything they do. Living young man, you mean to tell me that they did not arrive at the weekend to change safe and out of harm's way?
So I want to clarify something as something more. He says Universal doesn't care about safety and whatnot. I think they do, just like Disney. I don't understand why Ben Crump is saying these things. Again, it was closed for over 2 weeks. Multiple teams of investigators and inspectors went on property. They had a boom lift with people looking at every inch of the track, the ride vehicles, everything. I don't understand why he's doing this. I don't get it. I don't know what more there is to investigate. And shout out to Kiki and Luca. Always great to have them in the chat. They said if an employee helped the man go onto the ride, I think Universal may have liability, since theme parks are required to enforce safety rules and not override them. You're absolutely right, Kiki and Lucas. So hopefully Universal didn't. I kind of feel like Ben Crump wouldn't have had the evidence if Universal did, if a Universal team member did help Kevin onto the attraction. But from having Jared from Captain of Magic on and him talking to sources, that's one of the policies that every Universal employee has to obey by, is never, ever, ever help a guest onto an attraction because of reasons like this and others. Kiki and Luca also stated, now whether that People magazine article is correctly reporting the information is not certain. Well, I would agree with that. There's still a lot of speculation on what's going on here. So
Kevin trusted the Universal officials, and that trust ended up being a death sentence for Kevin Rodriguez Chavela. And I'm trying to get through my part so you can hear from his parents. But we want to address this announcement. Was it on Sunday about the change in policy? Saturday, the weekend, the change in policy. You know, Universal Studios, this multi-billion-dollar corporation, with all kinds of safety experts, all kinds of design experts. You mean to tell me that they did not arrive at the conclusion that this ride was not safe for disabled people that were bound to a wheelchair until after Kevin was dead? Is that what they're trying to get us to believe? That they had this epiphany that, oh, because Kevin dead, the design should not allow disabled citizens.
So I want to be clear on something. You know, there's always been warning signs on attractions. Every attraction has warning signs. Basically, it'll state if you have back and neck problems, if you're a female and you're pregnant, or if you just had surgery, or if you get motion sickness too easy. They say on the warning signs, do not ride this attraction. Do not ride this attraction. And the warning signs were on Stardust Racers, and I'm not blaming Kevin. That is not what I'm doing here. But him and the family, or just him and the girlfriend, I mean, went on this attraction knowing the risks, and God willing, something happened. He died, and it's a tragedy. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not blaming Kevin. I'm not blaming his girlfriend. But when people that are bound to a wheelchair, and I'm quoting Crump on this, when people are bound to a wheelchair and they go on these type of attractions, they need to be fully aware be aware of the attraction they're riding. That is all I'm going to state. It's open for it's open for discussion, but personally for me, I don't think Universal shouldn't have allowed Kevin on this attraction. Not because he's wheelchair bound, just for his own safety. That's all I'm stating. I'm not trying to be discriminatory. I'm not trying to, blame Kevin or anything like that. I'm just saying in general. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Disabled persons to ride the roller coaster. This change of policy should have been the policy before Kevin got on the ride. His girlfriend and they did everything they were supposed to. They read instructions, anything that had warnings or restrictions, they wouldn't get on those roller coasters. Kevin had rolled on roller coasters over 100 times. And he was safe on every roller coaster he rode on, Universal, Epic, until he was killed on your roller coaster. Until he was killed on your roller coaster. Kevin was a highly intelligent, independent living young man. He understood everything about his limitations. His family and he were very, very clear on things he could do and what he couldn't do. They did everything that they were supposed to do that day. They trusted Universal was the only thing he did wrong. He trusted Universal. This change in policy is like, I don't know. Really, when you think about this change of policy, it's a day late, $1 short. It's like giving a death row pardon 10 minutes too late, Universal. It shouldn't be after somebody is killed that you go over your safety protocols, that you examine your design of the roller coaster. No, that is supposed to happen to prevent a tragedy like this. And as we said before, people had said that they had got injured on this ride.
So Ben Crump is starting to say that basically people have gotten hurt on this attraction. And as far as I know, the people he's referring to is a older lady that wrote it during previews back in April, which she already she filed a lawsuit and Universal settled with that. And my interpretation on that is why she waited 6 months after she got hurt to file a lawsuit, which to this very minute seems very suspicious to me. And again, I've covered this topic so many times in the last week or two, not only on my channel, but other people's channel on Orange Grove 55 and Jared from Capture the Magic. Why did she wait 6 months? And come to find out, this older lady had a pre-medical condition, something again that refers back to the safety signs of each attraction, including Stardust Racers, which clearly states you should not be riding this attraction if you have these conditions. Now, what her condition was, I have no idea. But I can almost guarantee that her medical condition, whatever it might have been, probably had one of the stipulations on the warning signs not to ride this attraction and chose to do so anyway. That's all I'm going to state on that one.
The restraints were not appropriate because they had gotten injured. And I get it. They keep saying over and over again, but there were no malfunctions. That doesn't mean that there were no safety issues. Because if there were no safety issues, Anna and Carlos's son would still be living today. And that's the crux of the matter, Universal. That's the crux of the matter. You all have the responsibility of his death at your feet. And you can't go on with business as usual, trying to sweep it under the rug and think that people are not going to have humanity for what Anna and Carlos and their entire family are going through. And just to say, before I introduce them, what quality of people they are, they keep talking about the loss of Kevin, but they all keep saying Attorney Crump and Attorney Greenkey, Attorney Jackson. What if it happens again to somebody else? We don't want it to happen to anybody else's child. We got the email from the lady talking about how she hit her head. We know that other people were complaining, and that didn't make them change anything. How can we make sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else's child? That's what this is about. That's what this is about, Universal Studios. To all the executives, it's about safety of our children. Hopefully, you would think about our children like you think about your children. And then maybe you won't be so quick to reopen a ride because you need to worry about the bottom line. No, it's about human life. Human life has to matter for something. At this time, you're going to hear from his parents, starting with his father, Carlos, who's going to have his children assist him because he's a little under the weather this morning, but he's going to stand with you with his children as they give you their statement in response to Universal reopening the ride. Let's go. Let's go. You want to stand?
Good morning. My name is Veronica Colasso. I am Kevin Rodriguez's sister-in-law. I will be reading a letter that my father-in-law wrote because his voice is a little under the weather. My name is Carlos Rodriguez Ortiz. I am Kevin's father. On the night Kevin died, he trusted Universal. That trust cost him his life. Universal said that safety is the most important thing. Yet they reopened the ride this weekend without having all of the investigations complete. To me, this is not putting safety first. This is not right. I say to the officials at Universal, until you do right, Kevin's blood is on your hands. He trusted its employees and the safety bar that was supposed to protect him. We learned that after Universal provided a wheelchair transfer seat to Kevin to get onto the ride, it took a Universal employee 4 tries at closing the lap bar to get the green light that Kevin's seat restraint was secured. The green light was given only after the employee forcefully pushed down the restraint on the 4th attempt. Kevin did nothing wrong. He reviewed the warnings before getting on the roller coaster, like he always did anytime he rode on the roller coaster. He placed his trust in Universal and its employees not to let him board on a ride if it was dangerous for him. He believed he was safe because Universal's actions told him that he was safe. We can't get Kevin back, but we can speak up to make sure no one else loses their life this way. My son was killed just 2 weeks ago, and we still have no answers. Yet they reopened the ride as if his life didn't matter and his death wasn't worth answering for. We're not here to tear Universal down. We're here to lift safety standards up. We're not against Universal, and we know people love the theme parks, because Kevin loved them. We just believe that every guest deserves to feel safe, no matter who they are or whether they walk or even roll. When something this tragic happens, the right thing to do is stop. Look closely and fix what went wrong, not move on as if nothing happened. We're asking Universal to let our experts inspect the ride, to be transparent, and to work together to make every ride safer. Everyone deserves to enjoy these parks and come home safely. That's all we're asking for. Kevin was the heart of our family. He was strong, independent, and capable, even with his lifelong disability. He never let it define him, and he lived fully, joyfully, and bravely. Thank you.
And that's so critically important. Every word she said. Now you will hear from his mother, Anna, and she is. I don't think she'll need a translator. But okay.
Mi nombre es Ana Zavala y soy la madre de Kevin. Kevin nació el 5 de julio de 1993. Tan solo tenía 32 años cuando se nos fue arrebatado. Kevin estaba lleno de vida, de alegría y de amor. A los dos nos encantaba montarnos en las montañas rusas. Compartíamos esta emoción en adrenalina, nos hacía sentir vivos y libres. Uno de mis fotos favoritas de nosotros dos era cuando montábamos la montaña rusa y sonriendo con manos al aire libre. Pero ahora esta foto es demasiado dolorosa para mirar porque me recuerda cómo murió. Esa noche cuando Kevin fue a Universal, él le confió en que la montaña rusa era segura. Confió en sus empleados que lo ayudaban. Esa confianza le costó la vida. Desde esa noche, nuestras vidas no han sido las mismas. No pasa un solo día en que pensemos en él, en su sonrisa, su voz, su bondad. Cuando supimos que Universal abrió la montaña rusa, se nos rompió el corazón. Fue como perderlo otra vez. ¿Cómo pueden abrirla si todavía hoy no tenemos respuestas? Antes de que nuestras propias expertos puedan investigarla. No estamos pidiendo que la cierren por siempre, solo pedimos que se haga segura porque no queremos que otra familia tenga que pasar por lo mismo que estamos pasando nosotros. Sigo dando vueltas en mi cama todas las noches, intentando entender por qué no creen que la vida de mi hijo es importante. Si fueran sus hijos, ¿no creen que hubiera abierto la montaña rusa tan rápido? Amo a mi hijo tanto como ellos aman a sus hijos. La persona que esté tomando la decisión de priorizar las ganancias sobre la seguridad, que Dios tenga piedad de su alma. Gracias, es todo.
I will be reading her statement in English. My name is Ana Zavala, and I am Kevin's mother. Kevin was born on July 5th, 1993. He was just 32 years old when he was taken away from us. Kevin was full of life, laughter, and love. Riding roller coasters was something we both loved to do together. We shared that thrill and exhilaration. It made him and I feel alive and free. One of my favorite photos of us is on a roller coaster, both of us smiling, his hands in the air. But now, that photo is too painful to look at because it reminds me of how he died. When Kevin went to Universal that night, he trusted that the ride was safe. He trusted the employees who helped him. That trust cost him his life. Since that night, our lives have not been the same. There isn't a day that goes by that we don't think about him. His smile, his voice, his kindness. When we learned Universal had reopened the ride, we were heartbroken. It felt like losing him all over again. How can the ride be open before we even have answers about what went wrong? Before our own experts can even take a look at it? We're not asking them to close it forever. We're asking them for answers and to make it safe, because we do not want another family to go through what we are all going through. I continue to toss and turn at night, trying to figure out why they don't think my son's life mattered. If this were their children, I don't think they would have opened up this ride so quickly. I love my son just as much as they love their children. Whoever is making the decision to put profit over people and their safety, may God have mercy on your soul.
Thank you so much to his very brave parents, his heartbroken parents, his determined parents to get answers and to get accountability. Universal has a responsibility not just to Kevin's family, but to every family who visits the parks to ensure its rides are safe for all guests. Y'all, this is an issue that goes so far beyond Kevin's family. I mean, there are theme parks all across America, all across the world, but they are a major part of the Central Florida community. And we have to tell Universal together that this is an important matter, that it shouldn't just be about the bottom line, because they reopened this ride this weekend and we saw a person who was interviewed saying they had to shut down the ride again because they were having problems with closing the device, closing the restraint. I mean, that's time they reopen it. They still having problems with it. Y'all, we have to make sure this ride is safe. If we don't, we're going to be back here again with another family or another citizen complaining about how they were injured on this ride. This is real. This is an issue that is so important for Central Florida, so important for the state of Florida and America. It's so important, y'all. So very important. I think about, they opened the ride, they had some issues. We know from the lawsuit, even before the ride officially opened in May, when they had people pre-riding, that they had safety issues. I mean, how many more times, Universal, before you say we're going to live up to our words? These words that Safety is and always will be at the forefront of everything we do. That's what Kevin's family think when you put those words on writing. It doesn't mean anything if your actions don't match your words, Universal. Kevin Rodriguez Shabala, life matters. I agree with his father and mother. They want every night those officials go to sleep at night to see their son's face. They want them to see Kevin's face. This young man who was so full of life. His life lost on your roller coaster because y'all didn't get the safety issues right. That y'all came and tried to change the warnings after it was too late, after Kevin was dead and gone. This is real, Universal. You all got to make it right. I agree with Mr. Carlos. The blood is on your hands until you make this right, till you make this ride safe, till you make sure you do right by Kevin's family. This is very important. You can't sweep it under the rug. It won't be business as usual. So if you all have any questions, we'll try to take a few. Obviously, it's a very emotional time.
You suggested that you and the family should have had access to the roller coaster before it reopened. Why did you not go to the courthouse a couple blocks from here to try to get an injunction?
Because we trusted Universal. We trusted Universal. And like Kevin, trust was betrayed. Apparently ours was too. We thought we were going to get to investigate. Our experts were going to get to investigate before they open back up. They told us that we're going to do that.
Yeah. The timing and the manner that they reopened that ride with no notice to us, not one phone call, no communication, and the late Friday afternoon, the way that we found out, made it very difficult, and that was on purpose.
Utmost disrespect. But it don't matter. They can run, but they can't hide. We will get justice for Kevin. We will get justice for Kevin.
Did you guys ever try to go to the courthouse though before, or was there ever a mention of a court injunction?
No, because we took them at their word. We safety was paramount. If safety is paramount, you said that they're going to work with us.
In hindsight, do you wish that you would have gotten a court injunction?
Yeah. So look, we were in active communications to schedule an inspection with our team of experts.
And their lawyers.
Okay. And we trusted them on that was going to occur before this ride was ever reopened so that we could all investigate and maybe even work together to find out any safety issues and make them right before the ride was reopened. And they didn't keep their word.
Is there still an opportunity for you guys to go back and try to get it shut down now, or is it?
Well, we hope that Universal hears the pleas of Kevin's family. But it's been made painfully obvious to Kevin's family. They believe it's about the bottom line. They don't think it's about Kevin's life or people's safety. I mean, you heard their words. This is, if that was your child, what message did Universal just send to this family? It was a slap in the face to them.
Yeah.
And you can best believe our legal team will be looking at all issues about them reopening this ride, and if that presents an issue of spoliation. And so we will make sure that Kevin gets justice. They will not get away with sweeping his life under the rug. Any other questions?
Attorney Crump, there's been some speculation that perhaps Mr. Rodriguez Zavala became unconscious, and then as a result, the ride may have been battered around. Are you looking into that theory? And if so, what do you believe
I'm so happy you asked that question. I'm so happy you asked that question. We believe there's video that exists. We have his eyewitness who was right there with them. We know he didn't lose conscience. But that's an important issue. Will we get to see the video? Will they be transparent? This is a multi-billion-dollar theme park. We know there are cameras everywhere. We know there's video everywhere in this advent of technology that we live in today. So we don't have to speculate. Hopefully they're going to be transparent.
Yeah, I'll just add one word to that. With roller coasters, intense roller coasters like this one worldwide, it's foreseeable that folks may become unconscious or faint or something like that. And we believe that the ride should be designed to account for that with better restraints, whether they be shoulder restraints or extra lap belts, not just a bar that comes down over your lap. So yes, we are looking into that.
Yeah, go ahead. We know he did not pass out. Yeah. And hopefully we'll have the autopsy results very soon that we will share with you that will speak to that as well. Any other questions?
Yes, Monica Ware, Florida National News. I would like to know if anyone from Universal, any officials at all, have reached out to the family or to anyone since this has opened back up. I mean, since we've been here, has anyone heard from them at all in regards to anything?
Their lawyers talk to.
Yeah, I'm going to maintain the integrity of the communications with the lawyers, but no one from Universal has in any manner tried to reach out to this family through us or in any other manner to offer condolences or offer to share with us in the investigation.
I want to say that we're going to open back up this ride. We wanted you all to know before the public knew. No, they didn't give that courtesy to this family.
And you all, I just want to make sure I understand correctly. So you all were made aware of this opening on Friday?
No. We learned it from you all. We learned it from the media.
So
that's why they say it was the ultimate disrespect. They feel disrespect. Injury, not just on top of insult, not just on top of injury, insult on top of death. It continues. Any last?
Just to be clear, we thought we were planning an inspection.
Natalie, you want to talk to the mic?
I just want to be clear. We were in communications planning an inspection when this news came out that the roller coaster was going to reopen.
We said that back at the last press conference. Remember, we said we were going to work with them, and Attorney Greek, Attorney Jackson was going to be with our experts and inspect the ride. We never ever thought that they would have such blatant disrespect for Kevin Rodriguez Chavala's family.
Mr. Crump, just so everyone is clear, yes or no, did Mr. Rodriguez Zavala have, quote, back, neck, or similar physical conditions?
What you mean? He was fine. He was disabled, but
that's what the ride sign says.
No,
yes or no?
no,
Did he
no,
have back,
no.
The fact that people are asking that and knowing that he was in a wheelchair, that means that was so vague that it was not a clear warning. So whether or not, he did not have any ongoing pain or anything like that. He has had a lifelong spinal disease and disorder. That was lifelong that he lived with. So there was nothing about being able to walk. There was nothing about being in a wheelchair. And they provided a chair, a transfer chair. And I want to be clear about that. They provided the transfer chair where he was able to get on the ride.
And forgive us for getting emotional because you get close to the family and it's disrespectful to them when they try to blame Kevin for his death when he did absolutely nothing wrong. He did absolutely nothing wrong. If he is guilty of anything, it is that he trusted Universal Epic Studios to make sure he was safe on their roller coaster and that he wouldn't be unalived on their roller coaster. Any last questions?
You mentioned that you guys were going to hire an inspector. Could you talk about that inspector and engineering firm?
No, we have several experts that we've retained that are waiting to come and inspect the ride.
Could you say any of those names that you might be working with at this time?
Not at this time, but they'll become readily available.
Are they rolling known to Universal?
And they've been made known to Universal's lawyers.
And are they roller coaster experts?
There are a lot of the experts that have worked in, we think we got the best experts. They worked in tragic situations involving roller coasters, not only here with the Tyree Sampson case, when we represented his family in that tragic death, but also in other cases around Colorado had recently had a terrible death that just went to trial. So we're using those experts. We wanted to spare no expense at making sure we get the answers. And we're not a multi-billion-dollar corporation. If we can go the extra mile, wouldn't you think if Universal really meant, if they really were about saying safety is always and will be at the forefront of everything we do. If Universal really live by that motto, couldn't they too go the extra mile for Kevin? Thank you. We'll keep you posted.
I don't know if the family can just do a couple of questions in Spanish, just related to the opening of the roller coaster one more time, and also the safety guys from the epic, just in Spanish. Really.
Well, we gave the statement in Spanish. Maybe we can talk about doing something separately. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councilman.
I wanted to ask one more question, if you don't mind. We saw over the weekend, there's long lines at the roller coaster. I mean, 150-minute wait. What would you say about that?
I think that's what it always was on that ride. It's nothing different.
But
And what I want to say, I pray all those people waiting for that ride don't end up like Kevin.
Anybody have names and stuff? You good for names?
So I want to ask you guys, after watching that press conference where Crump and some of the other attorneys on the case, spoke, and then the family spoke, does anyone here in the chat watching either on YouTube or X believe that Universal is at any way at fault for allowing the roller coaster to be open? The way I see it, and again, I'm going to speak just for myself, not to implement anything on the family or anything like that. But so the roller coaster, let me look at my calendar here. The roller coaster, whoops, sorry guys. The roller coaster closed on September the 17th. That's when the tragic accident with Kevin happened. So from the 17th all the way to what's today, the 6th, and they open it on the 4th. So that is, let me see. $17 days. 17 days that the roller coaster was closed, and they talk about all these experts they hired, which is, they're fully allowed to do that. That's just, they want to get transparency, and I understand that. But 17 days for one attraction. It's not like it was multiple attractions, one attraction. But yet in 17 days, we had a team from Universal Orlando. We had a team from Mack Rides, who is the designer of Stardust Racers. We had a third party team, and we had a team from the state of Florida come out and look at this attraction, every inch of this attraction, and even the ride vehicles, and said to Universal, hey, the ride's good to go. It's clear. There's no issues that we can find. Even Jared from Capture the Magic, and shout out to Jared, who's been covering Stardust Racers with his update videos when updates like this come out, and I'm sure he's going to have another one today based off this press conference, that again, he has sources that work for Epic Universe and our team members, and said during the Stardust Racers closure for 17 days that they had a crane on site where they were looking at the roller coaster inch by inch and, inspecting it. So how can four other teams, including a third party and the state of Florida, come out and inspect this ride, clear it, but yet Crump and his team and the family got another team, but in 17 days they couldn't execute? And one of the reporters asked them, well, why didn't you get an injunction at the court? And Crump clearly stated that he trusted Universal to invite them out. And then, there were things said that Crump was saying that Universal has not reached out to the family. There could be multiple reasons why that is. And we don't even know if that's 100% the truth. But from what I understand, and I'm not a lawyer, but from what I understand, when you have a situation where it becomes a legal case, it is highly forbidden for the defendant, and I'm not saying Universal is the defendant, I'm just, trying to give an example, but it is highly forbidden for the defendants to contact the victims without going through their attorneys and allowing the attorneys to communicate back and forth. And Crump couldn't even clarify that discussions between Universal attorneys and, Crump and his team were talking. They said, as far as I remember, they said they were talking. So there has been communication, and it's a great possibility that Universal is not allowed to contact the family, and they have to contact through their attorneys. So when Crump comes out, and this other gentleman here comes out and says Universal's being totally disrespectful and not contacting the family to apologize, legally, as far as I know, again, I'm not a lawyer, but legally, they're not supposed to. They're supposed to go through their attorney. So I'm not sure what the heck is going on, but if Crumb's team is ready, the team of investigators, if they're ready to look over this attraction, just to give transparency, which they want, I would not mind seeing their team with Crump there, and then these two lawyers and the family, if they want to be there, inspecting the ride with the state of Florida of investigators, Universal representatives from corporate, the president and CEO of Universal Orlando Resort, and others to witness their Crump's investigators look at the attraction, so they don't try to sit there and say something that's not the truth. I would be okay with that. Does it need to be closed for another week? No. Maybe another day, maybe 2 days tops. If that's what Crump and the family and everyone wants, then I say Universal, close it down for 1 more day, 2 more days tops. Let them go in there if Crump's team is ready and investigate all they want. And they'll probably come to the exact same conclusion that, again, the team from Universal, the team from Mack Rides, the inventor and creator of Stardust Racers, a third-party team, and the state of Florida all concluded that it was safe. If Ben Crump and the family want that, so they can sit there and get the same answers that 4 other independent teams came out with, be my guest, because they're not going to like the answers that they're going to see, and they're going to try to find something to blame Universal for. And again, if I I'm not privy to information at all, but if Crump's team, this team of investigators, were ready to inspect the ride, why were they not available during the 17 days? Crump even said there is a case in Colorado where another person lost their life on an attraction, and these investigators that Crump is referring to that wouldn't have been looking at Stardust Racers, they are actually tied up in the legal case in Colorado. So how can they be in Colorado and then be in Orlando? You know, it kind of almost doesn't make sense, but who knows? I'm just going to state the obvious. They had 17 days. How can 4 other teams of inspectors come in there, look at the attraction, and find nothing wrong? But Crump's team had 17 days, and yet their team could not go look at the coaster. That's the question I have, and it's the question I'm going to continue to ask. And we're probably going to do another one of these live streams when another press conference comes out where they release the autopsy report, because I'm sure Crump's going to do another one, and we'll bring that to you. Maybe not live, because obviously this was filmed this morning, but I will bring it to you that day, and we'll go over what the autopsy shows for Kevin's passing. And again, my thoughts and prayers go out to his family, his girlfriend, and immediate friends. But I do kind of feel that Crump is not the best representation for this family. He is very upset, very egregious towards Universal and others that he's represented going after these theme parks. So again, it's not my place to say if the family shouldn't have hired this guy, but um, we'll just have to wait and see. But from what I'm being told, and again, I didn't even get told the whole story, but from what I'm being told by someone I know, that there is information that Crump and the team for this case is not looking good at all for this case. So again, I'm not going to speculate what that is, but that's what we're faced with. Why? All these questions still remain. Why? And I want to give a shout out to Chris West for the 199 super chat. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it, but I'm doing this work for all you guys. This work is for you guys. It's not for me. It's for you guys, to keep you guys informed, because in March I will be going to Epic Universe and Walt Disney World for my very first time. I've never been to Universal Orlando. I think I've been there one time, and that was 15 years ago, and I didn't even go to the parks. I literally did I spent the night in Orlando, and we boarded a Royal Caribbean cruise, and that was like 15 plus years ago. So I've never been to the theme parks there. I don't know what to expect, but I'm going with George the Disney Italiano, his wife Abby, Tommy Toon World, Orange Grove 55, and then who's going to meet us out there is Jared from Capture the Magic, Slimer. He's going to be out there. I'm going to meet up with an old friend of mine that I've known for almost 8 years now. Him and his wife. live out there. They've lived out there since I think 2019. So I'm going to meet up with them. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'm going to try to ride Stardust Racers as much as I can to get the feel for the coaster, since I don't know when I'm ever going to be back at Orlando for the theme park. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm going to try to ride that attraction multiple times and kind of get my own opinion. And me and George will probably do a live stream from the hotel room describing that experience, so I can kind of understand if there is issues with the restraint system, which I don't believe there is, and the G-force of the coaster. Jose says, I agree that the family needs a better lawyer. Crump seems like he only wants money. Unfortunately, Jose, I could not agree with you more. Some people have called him an ambulance chaser. I just don't think Crump is the best person to represent the family, and it's kind of sad. You got people like Crump, and again, there's so many others like Crump who sit there and are not the best representation for a family in mourning and grieving. And I just don't know if Crump is the best option they kind of went with. I really don't think so. But again, maybe that's why they hired him. You know, what they can afford, or maybe it's they've looked at his record with other cases he's been involved with. Who knows what the reasoning behind it is? But I can assure you one thing: the biggest question out of this press conference, is they had 17 days. 17 days that Stardust Racers at Epic Universe was closed. How can 4 teams of investigators, or I mean inspectors from 4 different branches, and what I mean by branches, Universal, Mack Rides, the state of Florida, and an independent third party, be able to look at Stardust Racers, inspect the entire track, both tracks, both stations, and all the ride vehicles and the restraints and cameras, and deem the ride perfectly fine, that there was no issues. But Crump and his team that they talk about with their investigators, 17 days. And like the reporter reported towards the end, because they took questions for about 5-8 minutes, was, why did you not go to the courthouse literally down the street from where this press conference is at and file an injunction to make sure that you can expect the ride before it opened? And Crump said, well, Universal told us that they were not going to open the ride until we looked at the ride, and we had our team look at the ride. 17 days they had, and they didn't do it. They could have filed an injunction. Why they didn't, who knows? I don't even know. It's very weird to me, and I have to say, it doesn't look good for Crump and his team. It doesn't, because even if this went to court tomorrow, let's say it did, there is enough evidence between the 4 other teams of inspectors, the cameras that are probably all over the track, the cameras that are all over the load station for Stardust Racers. But yet, there's I don't know. The thing just does not seem right. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in today for a conductor live stream. And again, when they do come out with the autopsy report and they do another press conference like this, I will be live streaming it like I did today. It might not be in the morning, depending if it's on a Thursday or a Friday and I am home from work, then I'll live stream it. If not, then I will probably live stream it when I'm home. to discuss this with you guys. But I want to thank everybody for joining today's live stream on an updated press conference from Ben Crump and his team representing Kevin Zavala's family. And again, my thoughts and prayers go out to Kevin and his memory and his family and his parents. I cannot even imagine the grieving they're going through. I just don't think Ben Crump is the best person to represent him. But that's just my personal opinion. But make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to follow me on YouTube and Blue Sky at Theme Park Conductor. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at theme_park_conductor. You can find me on X at theme conductor. You can also find me on TikTok at theme park conductor 1. And you can find me every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Conductor Sunday live stream, where we talk everything from Universal to Disney to HHN to the Halloween season and the up and coming Christmas season. We have a lot of amazing content coming up with past guests like Orange Grove 55, Tommy Toon World, George the Disney Italiano from Hollow Gelato that was just on here last night. We also have Jared from Capture the Magic, and then I'm going to reach out to more people to get on the show and kind of share their park experiences and whatnot and discuss future expansions for these parks. But I want to thank everybody and have a wonderful day or wonderful night where you might be. Be safe, be kind to one another, and I will see you guys very, very soon, if not this coming Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a good night, everybody.